Hey, everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. This is show number 2. Yes, it's the second show of the day. If you were with us earlier, we did a show live from Ireland, which was a lot of fun. We had that very popular Irish folk group, folk band, pop band. They were really terrific. We had Harry as well as Kara from Billowwood, and they were amazing. They performed live. We had lots of music videos. We had lots of Irish crack with them and levity. And with all of you, if you were with us earlier, I know many of you follow our show whenever it's on. You're always here. And we thank you so much for that. Thank you. Matter of fact, it is Saturday night, so we're going to toast you in style. Yes, this is the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. Very, very classy operation here. So we have a little Riesling in our glass tonight. I know usually it's something like Trader Joe's lemonade or water or juice, but tonight, we're doing 2 shows. We're working hard on a weekend live here for you, beaming out all across the globe with the Jim Masters Show live. So we toast you and you and you and you. And we thank you for joining us on a Saturday night. Hope you did what we mentioned to do earlier. Those of you who were with our show earlier, we had a 2 p.m. Eastern show again with that fabulous music group from Ireland, Billowwood. If you missed it, you can see it on our YouTube channel. Check it out. Matter of fact, over 435, almost 440 episodes of the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series is available for the binge watching. And so many people go back, they watch again, or they watch for the very first time our series of episodes with guests who literally come in from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music. Think about it. Culinary arts, comedy, sports, inspiration. And it's really a blessing, and it's really, really cool. You guys are the best. Those of you who are with us for the second show, you revolve your day around when we're on. We're generally here in the summertime, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're doing summer hours a little bit later, so folks can enjoy the weather outside and the beautiful days that we've been having here. We're in the northeastern United States, for those of you watching the first time. We're in the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, along the southern New England coast between New York and Boston. And this show is about entertainment, inspiration, education, and information, and light, love, and levity, or as we have coined, lovity. Our viewers call themselves the Lovity Squad. Yes. So we say hello to the Lovity Squad. It's to chime in. We do have an amazing guest who's joining us. Yes, you know her probably from appearances on Law Order, as well as All My Children and Guiding Light and Another World. Remember Another World with Ada and Mac and Rachel Corey? Yes, and much, much more. We're talking about the brilliant actress and producer, Eve Austin, is joining us in just a second live here on the Jim Masters Show. She's all excited. She's been posting away, sharing away. Matter of fact, she just landed on the plane not that long ago, maybe a couple of hours ago. And here she is joining us in just a second, all freshened and ready to go, just like a professional would be. Let's check in with our lovely audience, the viewers watching around the world. First, of course, we welcome you to the Jim Masters Show live, as we always do. Hello to all the lovities That's our real faithful viewership all around the world. Again, on this episode, we're going to be welcoming Eve Austin to the family here. We would love it if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. That would be awesome. That really helps the show and allows us to continue to deliver all this amazing content we deliver all the time for you. And while you're doing that, click that notification bell so you never miss any of the episodes, the live episodes we do just about 7 days a week, as well as our surprise pop-up shows. You're watching the channel right now, Jim Masters TV. So just go over and click that little red subscribe button and that little bell icon, and that would be great. And while you're there, if you enjoy this episode and any of the episodes of JMS, then we would love it if you give it a thumbs up and also leave a comment on the episode right underneath on YouTube. Reason why is we see that and we appreciate it, but also YouTube sees it and they will take this episode and they'll blast it out even further to more people who would want to see this episode and all the episodes of our series. So check that out. That's a cool thing and we would love it, love it, love it. Look at all these great comments coming in here. We're going to check in with our Levity audience. Share the Levity. Tell your friends about the Jim Masters Show Live. We appreciate that. And also super chat, super stickers, super emojis, something new that happens during live chat. You can check into that. You probably see it at the top of the screen on chat. We will highlight your comments and we will also thank you personally for your comments as well. And if you were with us earlier, one of our faithful viewers is celebrating her birthday. She's in Kansas, USA, Sherry Larson, and I, along with Harry and Kiara from the Irish folk and pop band Billowwood, who were our guests earlier live from Ireland, we sang her happy birthday, and there she is. She's still basking in the glow of that wonderful surprise birthday sing-along that we did for Sherry. Continued happy birthday to Sherry. Elizabeth is here, Elizabeth Connell. Yay, Eve, such a talent. Really looking forward to this. Elizabeth, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. It's nice to have you here. Check in, since this is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series and I'm your host, we like to greet our viewers, our audience. Since I work in television, we sort of treat this more like a television show, even though it's streaming online. Hello again, my friend and all lovelies. That's from Merlin, who watches in Ontario, Canada. And, Arlene Joseph is here. Welcome, Arlene. That's Arlene. Arlene Joseph. Looking forward to it. Welcome, Arlene. It's nice to see you and nice to have you part of the Jim Masters Show family here. Merlin says, welcome, Eve, to Levity Hall. You're now a Levity. I told Eve all about Levity and what it's all about. She says, I love it. Bring it on. So Merlin's here. Carla is here for show number 2. She was with us earlier in the day. She's watching in Brazil, in South America. Oh, Jim and gang, nice Saturday night on the Jim Masters Show. Thank you very much. We appreciate that, Carla in Brazil. Elizabeth says, thank you for the welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the family. Elizabeth, you're now a Levity on the Jim Masters Show Live. Alessandra is here for show number 2 today. Hi, everyone. She's watching in North Carolina, USA. And Sherry's got all kinds of treats there for her birthday. Joan Sandos says, hi, Jim and Lovities, and welcome, Elizabeth. Jane is watching in Sweden, where she always watches, where she lives. Hello, all Lovities and Jim. Jane in Sweden, good to see you. Cheers coming from Merlin in Canada. Our friend June Rachelson Aspa, hello, good to see you, June. Hi to Jerry and everybody. She's in Maryland. Yeah. And once again, Alessandra shared this on Facebook and Twitter. We love when you share the links all over the map so more people can watch our entertainment lifestyle talk show series. Sort of patterned after Dick Clark, Dick Cavett, Johnny Carson, warm conversational style with a modern twist of today. That's what we do. And Juanita, hooray from Carla. And Juanita says, hello, Jim and Levity Squad from South Africa. Once again, show number 2 for her as well. Alessandra says, welcome, Eve Austin. You're now part of our Levity family. She says, bring it on. I want to be part of the Levity family. So that's cool. And we're happy to hear. Alessandra, during our episode this afternoon with the Irish band Billowwood, she actually crocheted, or is it sewed, an entire blanket during our show. And now she's crocheting a Winnie the Pooh doll, which she's probably going to have done by the time this show is wrapped up tonight. You're amazing, Alessandra. You are on a real binge. Welcome to Levity Hall, Eve Austin from Joan. as well. And more coming in here. Arlene says, thank you for the welcome. You are very welcome. Jeffrey Hornstein is here. Welcome, Jeffrey, to the Jim Masters Show Live. Happy Saturday, Jim. Good to have you with us. Happy Saturday to you. And Dawn is here. Welcome, Dawn. Good to see you, Dawn. And it's your livelihood to do the sewing. Cool. It's very therapeutic, too. People that are on your Christmas gift list must love you with all the gifts. Love it. And happy birthday, Elizabeth says to Sherry. And June sends in her love and her smiles and so much more. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. So good to see everybody. And again, keep those comments coming. You can post throughout the show live, and you can also comment later on afterwards as well. So as I mentioned, Eve Austin is truly amazing, and we're so excited to have her here on the show. You've seen her in so many shows and so many productions and all kinds of cool things over the years. There she is. And here she is in stereo. How are you, Eve? Welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. I cannot believe you have people from all over the world on your show, and it's just fantastic watching your show. And it must be all different time frames. So, that's fantastic. And I love people, and I'd love to meet everybody that's in Brazil and Sweden and everywhere. I think it's just fantastic. So great.
Yeah. Fantastic. And you're wearing my ultimate favorite color. That's the Kelly green, right? Yes, the Irish in me loves that color. Nice. Yeah.
There's a little Irish in me somewhere, but
yeah. Well, it's awesome having you here. And I know you've been a fan of our show. You've been watching. Matter of fact, you were on the other night and you commented while you were watching as well. And we really appreciate that. And I think you've picked up some of that conversational vibe, the way we do it, sort of old school, like the Dick Cavett's, the Johnny Carsons, but blending that modern vibe in with people who are participating from around the world. Kind of cool, huh?
I think it's wonderful. I wonder where your sidekick is, though.
He's here. You want the sidekick here already? We usually bring him at the end, but here he is.
No, not already. Oh, there he is. Oh my God, look who it is. It's God.
It's George Burns. There he is in the house.
Did he play God?
He played God. Did
right.
you ever have a chance to work with him through the years or anything? Come across him?
I wish. I really wish. I'm actually old, but not that old.
Well, he did make it to 100. We usually
sure did.
Makes everybody laugh.
He's got a very, very good recipe.
Oh, I tell you, he really, really does. I want to show you some of the comments that are coming in live as we speak, which I think is the ultimate. There's nothing like live, when you have an opportunity to do things live. I think it's really, really cool. Let's check in with some of our fabulous Lovities that are here and see what they're saying as they are welcoming you to Lovity Hall. June, of course, says, welcome, Eve. And Kathleen is saying, hi, Jim. Hi, everyone. Welcome, Eve. Anne is back for show number 2. Now, Kathleen's in New York City, and Anne is in Southern California. This is her show number 2. She says, hello, everyone. Great to be back at Lovity Hall. Now, I told you all about the Lovity, right? The fact that I was saying the show has a lot of light, love, and levity in the summertime. And when I said that, I slipped up and I said the word Lovity. And ever since I said the word Lovity, everybody fell in love with it. They call me Mr. Lovity. They call this Lovity Hall. They call themselves our Lovity Squad. They're welcoming you as a Lovity. Matter of fact, Arlene Joseph says, love seeing Eve, looking beautiful. Dawn says, hi, Eve. Jeffrey is here. Hi, Eve, looking great. Cool stuff. We got all this Lovity. How does it make you feel to see all this Lovity?
It makes me feel very warm and fuzzy. And I do have to tell you that a couple of the people that are here are amazing artists on their own that you've just mentioned.
Joshua, hi from Wichita, Kansas. Yeah. Juanita, welcome from South Africa. And James, welcome from Sweden. Welcome, Lovity Eve. Alessandro, North Carolina says, I love watching you on Law Order SVU. And you're getting a big Lovity hug from Alessandra, which is really, really nice. Cool stuff. Yeah. Look at all of this. Great stuff here. And Jeffrey, of course, right? is here. Elizabeth, Stunning Eve, Elizabeth Connell. Well, and if any of these fabulous folks that are joining us tonight would like to hop on as guests, just let us know. You're all welcome to join us here on the show. And of course, our dear friend June is here. She's in Baltimore. So how have you been? How are you doing? And how's everything going? And, it's we're living in an interesting time, right? So how have you been, Eve?
Well, I basically am a type of person that tries to make lemonade out of lemons.
Lemons, right?
Yeah. And of course, it's been horrible for all of us, and we've been isolated. And in one way, there are a lot of good things about it, that we had a lot of time to think,
Yeah.
and a lot of time to go inward and to plan out our lives in a way that may be a better way than where we left off.
Yeah.
No one likes to be shut off, and our world has changed so drastically. It will be a different world now, but I'm so grateful that we're more on the way back than we are, where we were. And I just have to say that the people that think that this situation just sort of happened, I personally don't believe that. I believe that a lot of us were a little bit over the top with consumerism, with not loving other people, with being selfish, with so many things. And to me, it's so important that if we don't take that pause to think about it, then I believe in God. So I'm going to say that God, or whoever you believe in, gave us that pause. And it's a year in our lives or 2 years in our lives are not the be all and end all. And we have the opportunity now to build something much better than what we had.
Very
And
true.
so when you talk about the old-fashioned shows and how we talk, normally, and it's not a lot of smoke and mirrors situation, I'd like to see it come back to that. I mean, it is old-fashioned, but sometimes old-fashioned is a lot better than new-fashioned.
Right. I
And
would say, yeah.
yeah, and part of my trajectory in this life has to do with wanting to help people rise up, in whatever they're doing, whoever they are. We all are one. I know I get a little woo-woo here, but we
That's
are
fine.
all
Woo-woo's good.
woo-woo's good. All right, good. So we're all one in this. And, whether I'm an actor or whether you're a musician or a writer or a teacher, and by the way, very maligned teachers. It's very sad to see how teachers are not as respected as they used to be. But whatever you are and whatever you feel moves your bucket, and that's why you are that, is the way you can go, and you can help other people grow along with you. So to me, life is an adventure on a daily basis. I can't say that I don't get down. I can't say that I haven't had tragedy, which is not what we're here to talk about. But everything in life is a lesson to us, whether we believe that or not. And in my very woo-woo way, I will say that this has been a lesson for all of us. And the ones that will survive it the best are the ones that are looking at the positive side of things and saying, well, maybe I shouldn't isolate myself. Maybe I should help my neighbor, help my friend, see what I can do. There's so many people that are so much more unfortunate than we are. And it doesn't even it doesn't even matter. It's not even about money. It's about attitude. There are people that I personally like to paint and draw. I don't think that I'm that good at it, but I love doing it. And, it's one of the reasons I never chose that career, actually, because I never thought I would sell anything. But at the same time, there are people that have a passion for it. And if they don't have arms, they do it with their feet.
It's amazing, isn't it? The things,
So,
right.
yeah, it's all about, it's not just about survival, it's about growth. For me, it's all about growth. and wanting to do better.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I'm coming from at any rate.
Yeah. Well, it blends into a lot of what we've been talking about here on the show, and that I've been mentioning. I think since I started the show, and as you know, I work in television and radio, and sort of this grew out of that at the beginning of the pandemic. And we've been doing this entertainment lifestyle talk show series now, 440 episodes live, 7 days a week. And a lot of people, even though I've been doing this work professionally for a long time, a lot of people have been discovering this and the atmosphere that we're creating, this whole, I say light, love, and levity. And then in the summertime, I said, when I was saying it too fast, I said, spit out levity. And I kept saying that was an accident. And then all the viewers kept saying, no, Jim, that wasn't an accident. That was supposed to happen. You were supposed to say the word levity because it reflects what you're doing here. It reflects us, the viewers, and the vibe, which I think is really, really cool. So now I don't say it was an error that's levity when I was saying light, love, and levity being love and levity together, was a Freudian slip. I guess it was meant to be, because we've been talking about, just like what you said, Eve. I said in the very beginning, I think what happened with all of this is there was three energies that got together: the divine, planet Earth, and Mother Nature. And they had a little conference at sort of the end of 2019 and said, you know what? We gave these humans the gift of this beautiful planet with all these riches, and we gave the gift of life, and we're keeping things spinning for these humans. Not the animals, not the ocean, not the trees, not the sun, the humans. And look what they're doing. Look at the violence and the road rage and the hatred and the division and they're going in the wrong direction. That's not why this stage was designed for them. So we're going to throw in a pandemic, economic situation, civil unrest, political craziness. And if one thing doesn't touch somebody, the other thing will, then that will, and it's going to compile, and we're all going to do it together. The three energies: divine, planet Earth, Mother Nature, the ones that really, operate the train. We think we do, but they really run the show. And we're going to do it in 2020. We're going to do it when it's normally the turn of a decade where everybody's so hopeful and excited about the new decade. That's when we're going to pull the plug, because we've had enough of the way humans are treating each other. So we've been given this pause. We've been given this phenomenal opportunity, even though it's been horrific and sad, and there's just so many things we've seen happen. At the same time, we've also seen people rise to the occasion, and we've seen the best of the best. People roll up the sleeves. Leaders have been born, people who just, call to action, helping out. We have seen, just go on the highway and people are driving 200 miles an hour, cutting each other off. They're rushing. It's almost like, the cages were opened up and now people are fighting in airports and cutting each other off on highways and all of this. And I'm sitting there saying, wait a minute, didn't anything that we just experienced leave you with something? Like maybe breathe, maybe say thank you, maybe, not honk the horn so much. Some people are thinking that way, some people. So hopefully, but I think it was a master, like you're talking about. It was something that energies larger than us said, knock it off. We don't like what's happening here, and we're going to throw some things your way. And, it's up to us I'm hoping we rise from the ashes, more empathetic, more kind. I know it sounds Pollyanna, idealistic, but what the heck's wrong with that? Once in a while, you got to have that. Life needs the balance. Everything can't always be raw and real. You got to have fantasy and daydreaming and idealistic thoughts here and there to balance out the raw and the real. So, but who am I? But we're on the same page with that.
You are one of us. You're pure energy. And may I say that in my belief system, there's only love and fear. And the fear is what what creates all these things, in terms of like, I have to be first online, I have to go faster, I have to be there, it's my right to be there. That's all fear. I think today that one of the expressions is FOMO, is it? Or is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that happens to be a truth. It's coining a new word, but it happens to be the truth that if love is your energy, then that will never happen because you trust that the universe will give you what you need. It may not be what you want, but it will be what you need. And what you need to learn will always be in front of you. And basically, loving other people and having a good heart and wanting to have others do better. It's not a competition, it's moving right along. I think if we all were that way, then we would be able to rise in the ranks of wherever we're going, wherever we came from, wherever we're going. And none of us have really come back to tell the tale. I mean, some people have, but not everybody believes them. But the tale is that that's what we are, to me, obviously. Yeah. That is what we aspire to. One of the things that I love about what I do is that you create stories that will uplift people. That's my favorite type of thing. It's not that I don't like horror or all kinds of genres, but I like to do stuff that will uplift people so they can see themselves and say, I could do that too, and I didn't think of it, but I could do that too. And, that's why I was mentioning teachers, because I think they're so important. And so, particularly, in schools from like kindergarten, let's say, to 12th grade, they are, today, especially like in New York, for example, people don't want to teach anymore because they're afraid. Yeah. They're afraid to go to school. Yeah. They're afraid to get hurt. They certainly make no money. The people that should be making all the money are the ones that are making no money. And,
right.
and things are a little bit skewed. They're a little skewed off,
Yeah.
And now we've had this pause and, it's not over. I don't want to be the voice of doom,
no,
but
it isn't. It's not over. No.
And
it's trying to make a return a little bit. Yeah.
Well, it's making a return because a lot of people are being foolish and they only care about themselves and not about everyone else. And if you live your life more in service to yourself, of course, you have to love yourself first. How can you, love somebody else if you can't love yourself? And I think many of us have that problem.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh yeah, I had to learn.
It's not good enough. If it was only this way, my life would be great. And then they get to what they think was great sometimes, and they find out that that's not what they really wanted in the first place. And it all comes from an inner situation of always, well, I don't know, maybe it's in my genes. My parents were kind people. They wanted to do good for others. But I think that we all have it, the capacity in us. And I think even the people that are the outcasts of this world, people that are in jails, people that have done bad things, we see every day. It makes me cry when I read these stories about the triumph over adversity that people have gone through. People that were drug dealers and went to jail and hurt people, and then they come out and they become lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. I think that we
counselors or motivational speakers. Yeah,
exactly. We have infinite possibility, and we revere things that are not really right. We revere, movie stars or models or people that are in the public eye, and many of them who do absolutely nothing except make money. They go on TV and I have nothing against that. God bless you. If you can make money at it, fantastic. But what are you contributing? What are you contributing to this world? I want to, I know it sounds very trite, but I want to leave this world in a little bit better place.
That's what I always say. Yeah, better than I found it.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you're paddling, upstream in the wrong direction or the direction that everybody else? Sometimes I do too.
All the time, because, it's like an ebb and flow in our lives. So one day you can wake up and for whatever reason, maybe you had a dream or whatever, and it puts you in your nose out of joint and you're not, in the mood that you'd like to be in. I'm not a huge meditator, but I try to do that a little bit every day because it puts
Right.
me into a space where it's not negative or positive, it's just is. And so it helps me make decisions. But I always think, well, am I making the wrong decision? Am I making the right decision? My mind is continually whirling, you know? So, yes, a lot of the time I feel that we make mistakes, but I'm trying to learn that those mistakes are really there for you to say, okay, so I made a mistake. I'm going to go forward, try something new, see if that works, you know, and not dwell on the negatives of this life. And especially in a business like mine, which is constant, if you want to look at it that way, can be constant rejection.
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
it is, it's very, very difficult to keep that level up. But you must do that, and I think it's just so important. And it's one of the reasons that I like younger actors or people that are in my business coming up, to try to mentor them in a way so they understand that this is not all about just um, about you. It's about us. It's all about us. And I can't say that I'm
That's what
perfect
I
at it.
say. Yeah, I say the us, the we,
It's about
right?
loving. It's about loving.
Levity. It
Yeah.
really is, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's really what it's about. Absolutely. So, you do have this brilliant career, an amazing career. And what, obviously, you like to do things that connect with people and relate to people through your art, through your work. Um, Tell us a little bit about how you got started. What were some of those early inspirations for you, Eve, when you were that little girl running around the house playing with the pots and pans and, entertaining and do whatever you were doing? What was the source of inspiration for you to follow your heart and your dreams?
You know, I don't really know. I mean, a lot of us will say, when we were little kids, we always wanted to be actors. Well, it happens to be true for me. When I said that to my parents, they laughed me out of the house. Really? Ha ha! Come act with me. My parents had a very, very difficult background, which I'm not going to get into now. But to them, I needed to have a job that would support me because they would not be able to do that. And so it was and I was an only, I grew up as an only child, even though I have half brothers, or one half brother now. And I've always loved, I don't even know why we want what we want. When it comes to acting, everybody at some point, young kids, they all want to be actors. They want to be in front of the limelight. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. I think that, acting is a lot about that. And I came into this business late in life. I had an entirely different career. I was in advertising, and I've lived in a lot of countries before I came to America, trying to get to America as an immigrant, speak languages, and had to come here. I was 10 years old, not speaking one word of English, and had to go to school. And the dreams that you have, you think can't come into reality. But I had that dream, and I had it in the back of my mind forever, just thinking that I'm never going to be able to do it. And when I worked for many years in the advertising business, I did very well. I was a very young hotshot in the advertising business. I was advertising director Diane von Furstenberg when I was maybe 22, something like
Mm,
that. And this was this woman at the time. This was her first incarnation. She was on the cover of Newsweek at 28 years old.
hmm
She was quite inspiring. So I had many years of that, and I was earning money, and I was doing fine. Got married, had babies, and realized that there was more to me than that. That's what all I wanted to do, was to have kids. I mean, once I couldn't do what I really wanted to do, that would be it. And I realized, there is I don't know what the word is. It's a gift to be able to have children. It's a privilege to be able to have children and to bring them into this world. And then, like today, you wonder, why are you bringing children into the world, which is such a difficult world, But, it is the way of nature. This is what we do. So at any rate, I was home bringing up my kids. And after my second one was born and he was 2 years old, I decided to go take acting classes because I could at that point. And I just totally fell in love with it. I didn't even know what acting was. I thought acting was emoting, you just go there but it's not.
Right. No, no, no. Right. It isn't. Right.
and
Exactly.
I just totally fell in love with it. And it became a passion. It became, it's not an easy road. It's a lot of learning. Some people have more natural ability and some do not. But the bottom line is, who are you and where are you? So I had a couple of opportunities in the beginning. I didn't know anything. And that's when I did the soaps, with dating me very, very old here.
Another World. Yes. When were you on Another World?
Oh God, don't ask. It was a long time ago. Those shows are no longer in existence.
Was
And
Ada still married to Gil then, or did Gil pass away?
I don't remember. I
Not,
don't think
not
that
that
was.
Another World was on in our house at all. I mean,
Well,
Rachel and Mac.
the
Yeah.
people that watched those soaps were either college students or
Hmm.
young moms.
Right.
And so that's why, and they were a very, very big part of daytime television because they brought in a lot of income for Pampers and for household
Oh,
products
yes. Procter and
and all
Gamble,
of that. Yeah,
P&G. Yeah.
exactly. P&G.
What
So,
was your role in Another World? Do you remember?
oh God, I mean, I had many, and I never did a regular on any of them. I would come in, do a couple of things, go out. They were like a bread and butter thing in New York at the time. It was very sad to see them go.
I
You
know.
know, they no
Yeah.
longer are here. They were substituted by talk shows
The talk shows,
and
and there were
reality shows.
game shows and reality shows, and
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the business like changed almost overnight. It became something very different. Uh,
Yeah.
Again, there's positives and negatives to it.
Sure.
And when I've watched some of these reality shows, which in general I don't care for, but they do hook you. Like they they hook you in, and you're like, what's going to happen? And then you realize, why am I watching this? I mean, do I not have anything better to do than to watch this? Um, and it's, the reality shows have made stars out of people that have, well, I shouldn't say no business. It's not for me to say they have no business being a star, but, they're not contributing anything,
They didn't come up the farm system way. Yeah.
Well, even that, I mean, there are people, there's nepotism in this business. And I don't
There
have a
is.
problem. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. I feel like, if you were born into a family and you have a particular gift, and you're going to get seen, uh, more than somebody that doesn't. So it's going to be less
Yeah.
of a struggle. But if you screw up, and during
Mhm.
what is it, the 90s and before that, there were a lot of other things in there like drugs and sex and rock and roll type of stuff. And that was also a learning period. We didn't have a plague then, interestingly enough. But I think all of the old hippies and all of that have hopefully grown up and become, real citizens of this world, and found their place in it.
Now,
Because we're all a part of it. We're all a
we're all
part.
part of it.
Yeah.
Now, when you were on the soap operas, did you enjoy that work? All My
I
Children,
did.
Guiding Light.
I did enjoy it. I think I liked the conquest more than I liked the actual job, particularly because the storylines were so lame, and and it was not real. They were written as a soap, which in general, I mean, there were
Right.
some that were better than others, but
Right.
uh, not to malign it. I mean, for me, it was a great time in my life, and I enjoyed being able to do it. It gave me proof that maybe there is something to what I want to do. At the same time, what I don't like about it is it's like going to an office, you're the same character. Like, let's say, I'm not talking about myself now, I'm talking about, the characters that are always on the shows, right? So you come in and you're always that same character and, but just in a different situation. And part of acting for me has been that I like to be different people, you know? I like to go out of my comfort zone. I mean, you look at me and I look PNG, which is not a very popular look now, folks. I've been upended on that one. But yeah, but
I've been upended on that one, like
I
the
mean,
roots of a
taste
tree
change,
just dug up.
something like that. People change and people's tastes change, and and we're much more inclusive now, which I think is a fantastic thing. To be honest, I think it's a great thing. Um, but what are you? People have to see themselves, and if they can't relate to a little white girl, I understand that, and I think it's very, very important to have a little bit of everything in this world, out there. And at this point in the TV shows that you see, in the films that you see, it doesn't even make a difference, um, what your ethnicity is or whatever. But you can bring something to the pot, which is, like in New York, we're a melting pot of people. And there's a little bit of everything here. And this is why I love New York so much. I mean, there's just nothing in the world like it. But I want to learn about other cultures. I want to learn about how other people think. But basically, there's always that root of humanity, and that is the most important thing. So, as I said, I realize that I look a certain way, but one of my favorite types of things to play are the disenfranchised. I would love to play a meth addict. Very
Have you
hard to
had a
do.
chance to do any of those types of roles, or?
Very little, and this is one of the reasons I started producing, because when you produce, even if it's a short film or something small, you can create what you want to do and put it out there. And so it's interesting because I have a very upscale look, and it's interesting. One of the things that I'm sort of thinking about putting together is forms of abuse and drug use and that type of thing that nobody ever shows you someone that looks like me having these issues, and trying to grow through them. They usually show you someone, from a poor household that never had any, well, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to describe it. And, but the truth is that there is abuse everywhere, and there's drug use everywhere, and there's nasty and horrible people everywhere. So, and I even, there's another role that I want to play, and friends of mine are thinking about it. They actually proposed it to me that I would play a slasher, which,
Wow.
you would expect, right? Or a
Yeah.
bank robber or something like that. The unexpected is kind of fun to do.
It's always the quiet ones.
Yeah. Well, I'm not so quiet, but
That's what
yes,
they always say when they interview the neighbors. He
I
was so
know.
quiet.
He
He
was
was
such a
always so
nice man.
nice, so
Yeah,
polite. Walked the
such a
dog,
nice
got the
man.
mail, and that was it. Yeah.
Right, right. And we
Meanwhile,
didn't know
inside
it.
the
He lived
house,
next door. Well, we all have our dark secrets. Let's put it that way. But hopefully those dark secrets won't harm anybody.
they just stay
So
intact.
hopefully they will melt out with everything that we're being hit with.
So what
Hopefully.
do you, when you look at some of those early years and, everything comes with blood, sweat, and tears, toil, sacrifice, the rejection you talk about that can happen, and so much more. Um, there are those early door opening opportunities that happen. Were there one or two that were crucial early on that got people to realize Eve's talent, Eve's tenacity, resilience, passion for the business, so the doors opened up early for you?
Well, disappointingly enough, nothing happened that way. um, a lot of rejection, as I said. However, what started to happen is people that I worked with kept on asking me back. And that is the ultimate compliment, because they wanted me to be around. They believed in my talent. They wanted to either write for me or have me in their space. And so I started to realize, find my tribe kind of thing. I started mostly in theater. For me, it was the easiest way to get into it. In those days, theater actors did not want to do television. I mean, in general, I'm talking about well-known actors. Television was kind of like the negative part of life, of an actor. Theater was it, and film was second. And then film became bigger than theater in some ways. I mean, this is my description of it, and may not agree. People may not agree with what I'm saying, but at least how I saw it. And now television has had such a huge resurgence.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of very, very good stuff on there. Maybe, there's a lot of crap, but there's a lot of really good stuff on there. And now we're getting, people that really know what they're doing to write for it and to be in it, so we get the stars, the movie stars and whatever, to actually show us, how it's really done,
Arlene
and
says, I'd love to see you acting in a dark place that exists behind the doors.
oh, Arlene, you have to talk. Arlene is an amazing artist, by the way. She's a painter.
Is she really?
Yes, she is. And she's very talented, and she sells her paintings, and she's in a lot of galleries.
Come on the show, Arlene. Let's see your
Yeah,
work.
we should absolutely put Arlene on the show. So, yes, I mean, I'd like to do something behind that's dark, because that's what reality is.
Yeah.
There's darkness to all of us. And even though I want to live in the light, and I always move towards light, like a plant, I
Right.
move towards the light. That we all have our moments, we all have our darkness, and that is when we need to be resilient and think of,
Yes.
and it's always, there was I'm not going to say it properly, but I'll say it anyway. Um, how there was a saying, I think it was an old Persian saying, that said something like, oh my God, this is going to come out like so garbled. I wanted new shoes or something like that. And then I saw a man who had no feet. I know that's
Yeah.
not quite, but you know what
Oh
I'm
no, I
referring.
use that. I say, if you ever get down, or you're hung on the tiny little things that happen, maybe your Wi-Fi went down or your printer got jammed, just go visit a hospital. Go visit a cancer ward.
Yeah.
Go, and that will level out the importance of the printer that's jammed, that you're kicking and cursing out and yelling and going on about. Just go to the cancer ward and visit the children in a cancer ward or what have you. And all of a sudden, the printer jam doesn't seem as big as you're making it out to be.
Well,
And
totally. And Jim, you know that the most important thing is to keep, when we have those moments, which we all do, uh, to know that they will pass. And not only will they pass, but the only thing that we really have control over is our own minds. And so, and we have total control of that. Maybe we are stubborn, maybe we don't want to think that way, but the truth is that your mind can change everything. And so if you live in truth, and you live in love, and you live in the spirit of what we were here to do, which is to really love one another. I know it does sound very like saccharine, but
nothing
if
wrong with that.
if and I think part of what's wrong with the world right now is that people don't think that way.
No, they sweep it as passe, old fashioned. There's no time for that.
And it's a meme world, and if I don't
Very
think
much
about
so.
myself, who else will? And the truth of it is, it's the opposite. And so you do have the power. And so what I work on myself, I've been studying metaphysics for a long time. Metaphysics being what you can't see, hear, you can feel it, but you can't see, hear it, touch it. All the senses are not related to that, but it does exist in my mind. I mean, I know that it's there. And if you allow that to touch you and to be with you, then you're able to overcome almost anything.
Hmm.
Really, almost anything. And that includes what we're all going through right now. which, I went through personally. So I know of whereof I speak. Um, and yet, I'm still here, and I'm here to still make it better, to
Mhm.
make it better, and to give people hope.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think we should all volunteer in these places. I think we should all put time into going into hospitals or wherever you choose to go and help.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it has to be your whole life, but it will give you a tremendous feeling of satisfaction
Oh, yeah.
to be able to help out in some way. And
I've
then you through your art, your craft.
Exactly. I mean, I've always tried to do that with involvement with charities, charitable events. In the very beginning, we rolled up our sleeves and we got, canisters of food together and dropping them off to people. When there was the shortage last spring, everything became the shortages now too. But when people couldn't get out and get food, seniors and others that are ill, and dropping it off and doing what we can. I mean, that's in our nature, and sometimes people, they shut that off because of uh, either a
They feel that
lack of understanding.
there's not enough for them. They feel that if they give, there's
Give, they will
nothing
not
left
have
for
it.
them. And the fact is that the more that you give, the more that you get back. And even if it's
Yes.
just in the satisfaction that you've helped someone, um, I mean, it's I've seen, especially in our industry, I mean, people are starving. People didn't know what, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, we didn't know people's businesses or jobs, everything was lost, and they couldn't eat, and they were embarrassed to ask for help. Look, if we all took $10 and we gave it to a local place to help people have food, do you know how much money we could raise? I mean, it's incredible. Or even if it's $5 or $1, if that's all you can afford. And if you can't afford anything, then give your time,
Right.
and give your ear to people. Let them talk to you. Let them, listen to them, because sometimes that's all they need.
Arlene says, I've donated my paintings to different charities for silent auctions. That's beautiful, Arlene. Alessandra, North Carolina, says helping others is really important, especially the homeless. And June says so important as well. And Anne says, love that, Eve. And Dawn says, I have given some of my clothes in the house as well to others in need. There's always a little something
We
that we
all
can
have
all
more,
do.
yeah. We all have more. In general, middle class people have much more than they need. We can live with so much less. And it's proven when you go, I mean, you see these for example, in India. I haven't been to India, but it's a fascinating country, and we're a culture. We're a couple of hundred years old.
That's
We're
it.
we're
We're
not
babies.
we're nothing. We're nothing. These cultures have been around for thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah, go to
And when
Greece
you
and yeah,
Yeah, and when
Italy.
you look at people in India, for example, the poorest of the poor have a light in their eyes. They have a light in their eyes that shines, because it's not about what they have. They are content with the life they've been given, and they live that life, and they do great things. And if everybody contributed on that level, it would be fantastic. We don't, but it would be fantastic. And I think giving hope to people is one of the greatest things. I mean, even just listening to an old person, like visiting, there are people that are, it's a terrible thing, for example, getting away from the obvious of poverty. There are so many lonely people in this world. I mean, even people that have an outward face of happiness are extremely lonely. And just to be able to listen to someone, to pick up the phone and not say anything but listen to them, is a huge thing for some people. There are people that that are older, that are forgotten. We in our society that does not respect older people. When you go to Japan or you go to so many other countries, the older people, the parents or the grandparents, live with the family. They don't shove them off to a home.
No, they respect the elders. Yeah, they
And
do.
we don't do that. We
No,
just
we
don't
don't.
do that.
No,
You
we
know,
don't.
basically, people that are making money today, and it's needed, but the people that are making money today are opening facilities so they can shove their old people in there,
Hmm.
let's get rid of this one. They're annoying. So I don't want to I want to have my life in peace. And, so, I mean, I like my privacy. I like my stuff, but there are other people here, folks. It's not just all about us.
We're all
So,
in this together, right?
yeah, there's so many places that provide, visits to people that are sitting at home alone. I mean, loneliness I think, is one of the most prevalent and saddest things that exist in this world.
Hmm. Yeah.
And and there's no communication, there's no little communities, or all around the world, people support each other. Here, especially in places like New York and Chicago and LA that are large places. New York maybe a little less because you can see people on the street, but the other places, you have to see them in your car, and you never communicate with them, you never see them, you're afraid of them. We have tremendous amount of homelessness. There's no, I mean, there is just no countries that don't support that. There are countries. I mean, I just saw recently that in Israel they have like these refrigerators in the middle of the street for people that are homeless and have nothing, that they can go in there and eat something. I mean, we don't have anything like that. Anything. And it's all because, people want to make money. They think that the great American dream is all about money. And if they have money, then they're going to be able to, be better than, then they're at the head of the rat race. And it's really just a matter of opening up your heart and seeing where you can be of help, and doing that. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be unhappy. It doesn't mean that you have to do it every day of the week. But every time you get a little, you should give a little.
Hmm.
Every time you buy a new piece of clothing, give the other one away. What the hell? I'm a victim of that. I mean, I don't think I've given away anything since 1905 of my wardrobe, so I let people borrow it. But at the same time, and I mean, I'm attached to things that are completely meaningless. And, it's a consumption society. We all know that. And especially in America, when we throw everything away. We buy in shops that the thing disintegrates and you throw it away the next year, or the style is out, or some nonsense. I just think that we have the wrong focus. The focus has to change. And again,
Hmm.
we started with talking about the pandemic, and I think that that's where we can make some changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, one way that you have been giving back is through your phenomenal career as an actress and producer. And we have actually a fabulous reel here of some of your extraordinary work. I'm going to take a look at that, and then we can talk about some of that too. People will recognize you in some of these roles. They've been commenting along the way too, as far as some of your favorite roles and things that you would. There's probably a lot of different things. You're at a point now where you can probably pick and choose the roles
I
that speak to
wish.
you. No,
I
huh?
wish. No, I'm not at that point. No.
Wrong industry.
Tell you, let me just tell you the facts for everyone listening. That I'm in a union. I'm in SAG-AFTRA,
Tag
and
after, yeah.
yeah, I'm in equity as well. And in SAG, 97% of the people in SAG make less than $100,000 a year. That means that 3% are all our movie stars and everyone we, I want to say worship, that they're great, that this and that. What are the odds that you're going to be one of them? The very low odds. And if you go into the business for that reason, it usually means failure. And so basically, it's the ride, the actor's ride, for example. that is the most important thing. It's where you are at the moment and enjoying that moment completely, and then going to the next moment, completely being in the now and in that moment. And yeah, I wish, what they say, from your mouth to God's ears, that I could get my choices, but no, I have to audition like everyone else. And it's always like a lack of auditions or a lack of something. And you have to tell yourself, well, tomorrow's another day, and something else will happen. But what I do love is to collaborate with people. And I love meeting new people and going to film festivals. I have a lot of things in film festivals. And one of the things that I like about it is not just to sell your stuff, but it's to meet people and to meet filmmakers and see what they're up to and what their minds are like and what their vision is like. And that's an absolute pleasure. And so really, I haven't, I would say in the last 6 years, things have been happening a little bit better for me in terms of the business. I get what I get, and I work on what I work on. And now at least I make more choices. I say no sometimes, which is something I never did before. But why waste my time?
Is that usually dependent on the role just not being something that speaks to you? What would make a decision like that for you?
That is partially it, yes. Or representing myself as something that's extremely negative, unless the piece calls for it, for you to be negative so they can see the positive in the other person. That's fine. I don't mind playing villains and that type of thing. But it is the role. It is the role. I mean, particularly in theater, where I find it, when I work in theater, it's easier for me to get the roles. In television, it's like a lot of it is about how many followers do you have, how many this
world with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I have followers, but it's not the be all and end all. It's just not it. It's like making new friends, finding new people, collaborating with them, and keep on rising. And each step, sometimes you stay at the same level and sometimes you rise up. But it really is what speaks to you, as you said. It has to be about something that really may resonate, that you can then project out to others.
Right.
That's the kind of work that I want to do. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And let's take a look at some of that amazing work right now with this wonderful video we have here, gang. Hang on, strap in. Here comes Eve Austin doing her thing in her Zen place.
Everything all right, Joe?
Fine, dear. Go back to bed.
Well, for me, the woman has to feel sexy, yet virginal at the same time. Yes, well, this is very unique. I call this one. I call it Princess Di Goes to Las Vegas.
Oh, so you're not going to even try, huh? Really? Tell me, you are better than that.
Mom, look, I know you mean well, but life just isn't that easy.
And I do know that giving up was never an option for your father until his last breath. And it shouldn't be for you either. Oh, sweetheart. There. There, sweetheart. There. There. Hi, honey.
I can't talk right now. I'm late for work.
I swear that's going to give you the wrinkle.
Honey, stop it. Don't listen to your mother.
I really mean it, honey. Do you know that Gladys Rothenberg, her daughter, she had Botox and she's only 35 and she really needed it?
I could call her.
Should I? Unfortunately, with this new administration, everything's different.
I've proven more than the 3 points they require.
I'm very sorry, Clara. We did what we could. I love cultural activities in New York. I mean, what's the point of living in Manhattan if you're not going to do any of that,
Exactly.
right? It sounds like you're a total Renaissance man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm enjoying you.
Oh my God! When my husband died, my daughter stopped speaking to me. I never met my only grandchild. Isn't that enough? Anyway, what do you care? You don't even know me.
My name is Latrell.
I know. We met before. You introduced yourself already.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, Latrell. I love it.
Lola, you look so good.
Very nice, very nice. When you see that and you see all of that incredible work, and that's just like the short list. It's amazing all the different roles and the versatility. You like a good challenge, huh?
I love a good challenge. Doesn't everybody?
Yes. Some of the viewers are saying, I saw her in that, and I saw her in that. Mary Bishop in Florida says, wonderful clip, brilliant actress. Alessandra, North Carolina says, great clips. Kathleen in New York City, great clips. And I watch this on TV a lot. You do a great job. Good stuff. What is it about acting that really speaks to you? Is it the opportunity to immerse yourself in the character and take on the nuances of the role? And how much of you is in the character? Are you able to separate the two, or do you like to bring in elements of yourself into the character itself?
The idea is always to bring an element of you into the character. Basically the character starts in someone's mind and they write it on a page. And if you're not fortunate and you don't know the person that wrote it, you have to kind of guess as to what they wanted to express with what they wrote. And the reason you get hired is because you are the closest to either what they had in mind, or they see something that's beyond what they thought, but it still gets the idea across. So it's always a play of opposites. A very bad person, I don't know, an evil person has a part of goodness in them. And if you can play that goodness, it's so much more interesting than playing the evil person, because we know what an evil person is, right? So, and vice versa, a good person has negative qualities, and to play those negative qualities. So for me, it's all about reaching into myself and seeing how am I similar and how am I different from the character that's on the page. And sometimes it's not even, it's not that black and white, it's very psychological. It's like, well, this reminds me of a situation. It's a totally different situation, but I acted a certain way and I did something that either reflected poorly or did something bad to someone else or did something wonderful for someone else. It's all about finding your own essence in the character that's written, because what they are buying is you. So if you go in there and you play it something that's obvious on the page, it's not as interesting because you're not bringing yourself to it. You're just mimicking something that's on the page. It's making it come to life through your own life experience. And I'm going to out myself, one of my acting issues had been, it's much, much better now, that, I always felt that I have to feel something as that character. If I don't feel something, I'm not doing it right. And that is actually the opposite. You don't have to feel a damn thing. You just do what you're doing. It's you that's watching that has to feel it. And
somebody just asked Barbara Streisand something similar about the music and about feeling the music. And she said, not always the case. It's being able to take the music and the songs and the lyrics and become it and act it. The acting part of the actual song itself, the music itself, the lyrics, becoming it and acting it. That it isn't always the feeling of it, which is amazing, similar to what you're talking about. And Barbara Streisand had said that recently.
Well, we're not being paid to feel. We're being paid to put a part of ourselves into what we're offered. And with it's
And then
I
the
love
audience feels, right? The audience
audience
takes
feels.
that.
So film and television are moving pictures. It's all about the visuals and the behavior of the people. It's not what they say,
Right.
because you can say I love you to somebody and mean I hate you. So
Yeah.
it's not about the words. I mean, whatever writers are listening, I hope I'm not insulting you, but basically, it is, bottom line is the feeling that you get like the first time you read something. And I would caution people that do what I do to read the entire thing at one sitting at first, the first time, because all the impressions that you get from that first reading, you do feel things. And then
Right.
you say, well, how can I make that into behavior? How would I, not Meryl Streep, but I behave in that given circumstance,
Right.
and be truthful about it? And it's, as I said, it's a road. Not everybody's born with a talent. It's a road that you take, and you work at it and work at it and work at it until it's satisfactory. And at this point of my career, I feel that, when I feel nothing, but I've done what I set out to do, I've done my best work.
Some people love to act because they get to play somebody else. They get to be somebody else. And it takes them away from having to deal with being themselves. And sometimes when they are that character and they are that somebody else, they can even lose the sense of who they are when they're not that character. We've seen that happen to actors and actresses who are always that character. Even in the supermarket, they're still that character. For you, how are you able to separate the characters that you take on with who Eve is? And is that easy to do for you? Or is there sometimes a struggle with the separation? You can get so immersed with a very intense character where it's overwhelming what you're playing. The meat and potatoes of that character that can be, sometimes you hear people say they got so consumed with the character that it was overwhelming for them. How do you work through that, and how do you deal with that, Eve?
Well, everybody works through it differently. Clearly, everybody has their own way of doing it. There's very different training. There's Stanislavski. There is I can't think of it right now, but there are many different methods of getting to the same thing. I do. The character does seep into my life. If it's a tragedy or something, it does seep in to a degree. But the beautiful thing about acting is it's an as if. So if I, Eve, were a woman that was an addict and could not get out of it, what would that be like for me? And so, yes, you work it, but you can't watch yourself while you're acting, by the way. You just can't, because then you're not in the moment, then you're watching yourself.
Critiquing and
Yeah. And a lot of it does seep in. And when you do a tragic role or something that's really a heavy duty thing, it's like in life, it's hard to explain, but it's almost like, when you interview people on television and they've seen some horrible thing or some horrible tragedy has happened to them, and you watch them and they're not hysterical.
No.
They're processing, they're doing something, but the reality is stranger than fiction.
Right.
So if we as actors choose to play what we think we should be playing, we're not doing good acting. So yes, especially when you do let's say a full 2-hour movie, and your character is spinning down, it is very hard to leave that at home. It's very hard for marriages. It's very hard for relationships. There's a little bit of it that's hard to get rid of, and at times you don't want to, because you want to stay in the moment. There's a big difference too in the medium that you're using. So, in theater, it's very all encompassing. In theater, you get up there, you lose a couple of lines, you got to keep going. You don't find that emotion, you can't fake it. So that night, I had some wonderful teachers, and one of them said to me, said to all of us, that if you have 8 performances a week in theater, 2 of them may be really good, and the rest of them may suck, But
Yeah.
if truthful, it's okay. The audience will still get the meaning of it, but there's no way you can do 8 perfect performances. It's just not going to happen. The other mediums, such as film, because it's done in parts, sometimes you start at the end, sometimes you start in the middle. You have to be in the moment for whatever it is that you're performing that time, that day. And so you have the opportunity to find a way in to do what you need to do. And so it's not as all encompassing in the same way. You're still the character, but in a different situation. And in television, it's very, very difficult because there's a lot of techno stuff going on with TV. You have to hit marks. I mean, you do anyway in film, but the scenes go on. In television, it cuts from one thing to the other. And so you have to be totally prepared emotionally, physically, mentally for whatever you're going to do at that point. And so it cuts away, it comes back. But what your job is to be as truthful as you can under those circumstances as who you are if you were in that circumstance. So, it's hard. Sometimes I live with those characters for a while, and luckily I like comedy. So, but there's a lot of tragedy in comedy, and there should be, because comedy is really reality taken to the extreme.
Mm,
And
absolutely.
it comes from pain. Comedy comes from pain.
It does.
And some people are just very natural at that. And I'm not talking about stand-up comedians. Stand-up comedians have one of the hardest jobs in the world. They have to go to comedy clubs. They have to be abused by people. They travel all over. They make no money. They sleep in sleazy places because they can't, that's where they're put up. It's a very, very hard thing to do. And yet there's a tremendous joy in making people laugh, And there's a tremendous joy in having people come along on your journey and cry with you if you're crying inside, So it's not about getting in front of a camera and saying, oh, now I'm going to be sad and this is how I'm going to do it. And, yes, you can fake it. You can absolutely fake it. And a lot of time there are no tears, Not everybody cries when they're unhappy. And yes, you can hide your face and it's been done and there's no shame in it. If your emotion is there at that moment, the audience will feel it. They don't have to see that streaming down your face. And when you don't have that emotion, it's even more interesting because you're watching them and you're saying, well, if that happened to me, I would be hysterical. What's wrong with this person, But they're watching it and they're going, but maybe this is another way of looking at it. It's just one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen in my life is acting. It's because you're using all of yourself. And, there are other parts of me that I love that have nothing to do with acting, like the producing part, which, it's great to have an understanding of it, but it's really, organizing, it's like my advertising experience helps me with that. So, it's organizing and knowing what you have to do and having your finger in every pie, which I like. I do like control of some sort. As an actor, you have basically zero control. You only have control of what you've prepared and where you go and what you want to do with it. And then you have a lot of bosses and a lot of people over you, telling you, no, that's not the right way, whatever. But in life, we have this, we don't have control either. We only have control of our own thoughts. What, as we said before, right? As we discussed before, that you can change your head to be what you want it to be. We just stubborn. We just don't want to go there necessarily. No, I want to wallow in this. I don't want to be happy. I want to wallow in this shit and just oops, I said a bad word on TV. TV. But the truth of it is that we have the strength. We're so much stronger than we think we are. We're so much better than we think we are. We're always comparing ourselves to people. This one is better, that one is better. I mean, of course it helps, to get awards and whatever. And when you start getting that, you start feeling, well, maybe there is something to it. Maybe I'm not so bad, but that's not the way you should be thinking anyway,
Right.
But
It shouldn't be just for the accolades. It should be the love of it.
90% is no accolades. So, when you finally get some, it's very rewarding, but it really, again, it should come from your inner self. It shouldn't come from other people liking you. It should come from you saying, I've done the best I can and I've told the truth.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
We have a couple of great photos along the way here we want to share with everybody. Let's take a look at this one. Ooh, what do we have here?
So that is a series that has not come out yet. It's looking for a not a a partner, I suppose. Yes. It is called Exit Zero. And we shot this in Cape May. There are all these haunted houses in Cape May that have all these lures. And basically it is this character that I play is the mother of these children, but I am a ghost. And the only ones that see me are, I'm talking to my son over there and he sees me and he's terrified of me. And I'm like one of the nastiest mothers you've ever seen in your life. The series is really quite wonderful. It is a comedy. It's a ghost comedy.
Yeah.
And, the production values are phenomenal. We shot it with 3 cameras. We shot it with drones. We shot it in the actual haunted houses and lived in them. We were there for a week. It was one of my best experiences. It was created by Paige Anderson, who's now trying to get the series out. And she's a wonderful director and a great writer. And that was a lot of fun to do, a really lot of fun to do. A lot of special effects. I don't know who that was.
Yeah, probably the previous guest.
Could be. Lola Does Manhattan is a show that I produced. I originally made it as a web series. And I realized after I shot it as a web series that it didn't really belong in that world because my character being a baby boomer, baby boomers don't really watch web series,
Yeah.
So I created them and it is a very unique concept that has to do with, again, what we've been speaking about really.
Yeah.
About you see the woman in black is me, obviously, and her name is Lola, and she moves to Manhattan to find a new life. It's actually a love letter to all these women that got married like out of high school and live in some little town, and they're the little woman, and the guys go out there, and watch their football games and get drunk and God knows what else they're doing. And these women don't even know how to write a checkbook. They don't know how to write a check. They have absolutely no power. And they have very little education. Now, of course, we're going into a different world, but we're talking about baby boomers now. And Lola decides finally to be brave and move into the big city and try to live a different life. She's got a family. She's got all kinds of things to deal with. And what happens is the whole show is about Lola and her inner self. And the inner self that you see, the woman that was in white, which is also me in this case, she is the alter ego, the conscience that we all have. We all have a conscience. We all have an inner self. When you say, I'm going to go do this, and it's not really good for you, and you feel warned inside that you are going to make a mistake. You're going to make a mistake. Don't do it. Don't do it. But we don't listen to that warning, and then we suffer the consequences of it. So in this case, Lola, this is something I created, and I also want to sell as a series. I've created it. I now use what I shot as a proof of concept and have written a show around it. And the idea is that we start listening to ourselves. Now, Lola sees her inner self. The inner self is actually physically there. It's sort of like Harvey the Rabbit. Do you remember that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't really exist, but this guy was talking to the rabbit. It was Jimmy Stewart talking to the rabbit. Well, basically, Lola talks to her inner self on the street, and of course, you're walking by and you see one person talking to themselves, which in New York would not be so weird, but
Or anywhere these days. Everywhere.
I guess not. My show's premise might be off the wall by now, but at any rate, it's really about learning to listen to your inner self and the Zen part of you, the part that's really always inside of you, men and women. And I see what Arlene is writing. Men, women,
A nice
everybody.
comment, isn't it? What she's
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
proving
what
you've
she knows
overcome.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a
And
beautiful thing.
it
And we
is.
all do in our lives, right?
We
turn
all
it into
ignore the good advice that we've got inside of us. We don't need anyone else to tell us. It's
right.
just that we feel that we need somebody, because if you became
To
famous,
validate.
right, to validate us, exactly. And so the validation is all inside of us. So the idea of the show is really for Lola to move forward by learning to listen to herself. And the more that she does, the more that her experience becomes a positive experience. And she does it through adventures. She does it through dating people, at an older age. She does it through experimenting with different things that she never tried before. And it's a comedy, but it's a serial comedy, because there is a depth to it. And basically the idea of the show is that eventually, I don't know how many episodes there are going to be, but eventually the two will merge, so that Lola and her inside will become one. She will start listening to herself, and she can have a happier life and a better life, and it will affect her family and everyone else around her. So it's kind of a lofty concept to do, because it's hard to explain and it's hard to do, to understand. But I want it's almost like metaphysics, but being told from a human point of view, where where you start to understand yourself and you start to listen to yourself, and listening to yourself is paramount in our becoming better people and fuller and richer and happier people, because you can always make the same mistakes over and over and over again, and if you don't listen to yourself, it's going to keep on going.
Yes, that's right. It's just going to keep on festering. Exactly. And got to listen to yourself, listen to your heart. We've got some beautiful shots here too. Jeffrey took these, right?
Jeffrey took that. Yes, he did. Jeffrey is the best. You know Jeffrey?
We haven't met. No, we haven't personally met yet, but I'm
Jeffrey
sure we will, because it's a small world.
he's doing we met because he's doing for a number of years, he's been doing a book that reflects different people in society of a certain age. I don't know if I'm saying it properly, Jeffrey, but we met because someone introduced us for me to be possibly featured in his book. And he took a lot of these pictures for the book. And I was fortunate enough that he gifted me with some of these photos, and they're absolutely beautiful. He's one of the top photographers in America, and certainly in our area. He's been at it for a while, and he's got unbelievable. I mean, I'm like a little nobody in this book. I mean, he's got unbelievable celebrities in this book, some who are now gone, and thank God he captured them, because it's a project that he's been doing for many years. So I was very honored, and then I met him, and he's just a love and a wonderful person and so talented. So
look at this.
Yeah, so I used Barbara Streisand's quote. Remember when she won her Oscar? She said, "Hello, gorgeous."
Yes.
So anyhow, this particular one was one of the beginnings since the pandemic. Oddly enough, since 2020. I have won maybe 25 Best Actress awards in 3 different films. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And this has been in film festivals. Some of them, I mean, we're not talking Sundance now. I don't want to make it like, it's like, but the recognized,
nice. Yeah.
It's wonderful. And unfortunately, I've had to be home and take my own pictures with the awards, because Thank you, Jeffrey. But I've had to take my own pictures in my own room because there's nowhere to go, right?
Like that and self-taping now.
Oh my
Whole
God.
new
And then
world.
torture. It's torture to self-tape. Ugh, ugh. Like you think I have a light on here, but it's the wrong light. I didn't have enough time to put up all the lights. So whatever. But yes, it's a whole new world for us in the industry now. You know, people are loving the self-taping because casting directors can see so many more people, you know, in a shorter amount of time. So more of us may be able to get in the room than they were, because basically the reality of it is like 2000, let's say there's, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of agents, and 2000 people are given to a casting director to choose from for each job, even if it's 2 lines. And within that, well, it gets a little smaller when they're bigger, you know, when they're like series regular or that type of thing. But within that, they choose maybe 15. So the rest of them are out of luck, number one. So just to get the audition we're talking about. And now you have these 15 people, and if they don't like any of the 15, then they go to the next bunch. But basically the numbers are absolutely ridiculous. And if you look like, you know, you look like somebody's cousin that they hate, they're not going to pick you.
Oh yeah, right.
It's not about good acting, because most of the people that get in are good actors, you know. What it is the flavor of what they wanted, the luck of the draw, being at the right place at the right time, being prepared, knowing people. You really have to get to know people so they let you in their room, which is a whole other side of this business. Very, very difficult, because, you know, if you're an actor and you tell a casting director, I want to get to know you, they go buzz off and hang up the phone. I mean, you can't call them, you know?
Yeah.
So no, it's very hard. It's how many people do you know? How many people see you? How many people believe in you? And that's why I say, you know, to be able to go back all the time to the same people that you've worked with is a huge honor. I've had some wonderful, wonderful mentors in this business, and I've been very fortunate with that. And they've been, you know, even if it's a tiny part, at least they have me in their film. And then I do it over and over again as much as I can. That is the premiere of All You Can Eat, which used to be called Wait. And that film is on most platforms. It's not on Netflix, but it's on most platforms around the world. That was our premiere at Soho, at Soho International Film Festival. That movie has been sold, and anybody that wants to could watch it on Amazon, for example, or iTunes, or various different things around the world. And it's a comedy. Yeah, it's a comedy. It was with, he's kind of a person non grata these days, but it's with, oh my gosh, now I'm losing my mind a little bit. Randy Quaid.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Randy Quaid is a award-winning, one of the 3%, you know, an amazing actor, and he did a little bit in there. And then we have a guy from Clerks in there who became very well known, and we have quite a few names in that film. I had a little role in there. I'm happy to have a little role. It's not an issue. You know, as long as I can get to play, it's fine, you know. So that was that film. Currently I have 4 on Amazon and other platforms streaming.
What are some projects that you're working on, or things that you're looking forward to coming up for you, Eve?
Well, there's a bunch of them that I'm very interested in creating. One of them, I went to Vegas for I got a Best Supporting Actress award in a feature. But besides that, I went to Vegas with my partner in crime, who is creating a show with me, and the working title is Finding Las Vegas. It's not necessarily going to be that. We're going to try to shoot it in the fall. And it's a comedy, and it's a road trip. I want to say Thelma and Louise, although that is not really a comedy, but Thelma and Louise in the older version. how they're finding adventures and what they find and how they find love and how they find themselves within the structure of this particular trip that they're taking. And so that one I'm working on. My partner in this definitely wants a female director. I have no problem with that. I work with both, of course. It doesn't matter to me, but I do want to support my female sisters. And so in this case, we're going to go with a female director. The other thing that I'm in the middle of completing is a film. It's a feature called Subject a Male. And the film is being made by Rosso Pictures International, and Stefano De Frey, who runs that company. He's also an actor. And Stefano not only does narrative films, he also does documentaries. And he's done some very important work. And that work has appeared in Meet the Press, and a lot of these news shows, because it deals with terrible things that have happened to people, etc. And one of them that I'm thinking about is called The Girl Who Cannot Speak. So this is a multi-talented world. He works all over the world. He just went to Cannes. He does Cannes every year to sell his films. And this particular one is a feature, and I can't give it away because I haven't asked him if it's okay to do that. But it's a film that we started, and right now we're in a hiatus, and hopefully I will finish that this year as well. And then we have the feature that I just did that I won supporting actress. It was, I won it even though it was in, it's not in finished format. It's basically not in final cut. It's still getting tweaked. And it's called The Sisters Cardos. And it deals with 4 sisters. I play the mother, and they're 4 sisters from the same father, but different mothers. And some very, very enormously talented young ladies in this movie that play my daughters. The filmmaker is a wonderful writer. And this is his first feature. And I think that it's going to turn out to be a really terrific movie. It was in the time of COVID. I shot it during COVID. And it does show you how it affects people's lives, but it's not about COVID. It's really about life. Yeah. And so that's the one that's in there. And then I have quite a few films that have already been made in the film festival circuit, such as Deborah Markowitz's Confidant, which Deborah Markowitz was the film commissioner in Long Island, and she runs a festival called LIFFE, Long Island Film International Expo. And that is actually happening in another week or so. And they bring in so many fantastic movies. And she cast me with this wonderful actor from LA, Eddie McGee. And she's just, her life is films. So she makes one film after another film after another film. And they're all very different, and they're all different, and she wins a lot of awards, which is very helpful for me. I just won Best Actress in the Queens World Film Festival for that short. And some of these festival people are amazing too, because they're such lover of movies. And I would suggest anybody, whether you're an actor or not, that you take yourself to these film festivals when they're in your town or when they're around, because there's so many movies that, never get to see the light of day. And it has to do with money and not getting seen, and not people being afraid of putting money behind it. It doesn't mean that the stuff that we see, or even the stuff on my reel for that matter, that's what I was hired for, right? It doesn't mean that that they're better. It just means that they got made. And so when you get to see a festival of shorts or a festival of features, it's a wonderful thing. It's very entertaining. It's fun. And if you don't like that particular movie, you walk out and you come back 20 minutes later and see a different one, So it's terrific.
Sampling, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get to see what everybody's doing. So, that's a terrific thing as well. And the couple of things in the fire, but I can't talk about them yet because they haven't happened. But that's kind of the beauty of this business. You get to see what surprises await you and what people you
Absolutely.
meet. Meeting people is phenomenal in this business.
How have you seen it change over the years?
Well, like we said before, I think that the reality shows and all of that, what's happened with television, is a huge change. I think that the tone of films, changes all the time. In the war years, people watched, the musicals, right? And then musicals fell out of favor for a long time. And now, with things like Chicago or even La La Land, which, it's not, to me, it's not the same. People love that movie, but I didn't feel the same way, but that's just my personal taste. But now they're coming back into favor and people are watching them because, look, we're going through hard times. People want to see things that are fun and
It's an
that are
escapism, yeah.
Yes, but we have everything. We have everything that you could ever want. We've got sci-fi, we've got horror, you've got, so much. And as far as I'm concerned, everything that you do, even tragedy, should have some humor in it. Otherwise, it's almost too difficult to watch. And I'm talking about narrative films now, not about documentaries. I think the documentary world has changed a great deal. Even though I'm not in that world, there have been so many fantastic documentaries made about people
Yes.
you've heard of, that are just so watchable and so interesting, so much better than some of the other stuff that we were talking about. But I think that the business itself has always been about money, and I probably will remain that way. Until there is a change. And, there also needs to be a change for females in the industry because, listen, if we're half the population, we should be making half the movies at very least. And, we have a different point of view than a man does. And so female writers, female directors, female DPs, directors of photography, all of that are very welcome in this world. I think that there's been at least a little bit of a push more towards people with disabilities, which is so important. There's so many fantastic actors out there with disabilities, and they're really getting, they're getting the short end of the stick. And basically, it's never been an easy business, never. And I don't think it ever will because it's just a matter of numbers. How many people really think that they want to do that? And then when they do it and they see how hard it is to do, many of them drop out.
Right.
Or some stubbornly stay in and just never achieve anything. But if you work towards being an artist versus working towards getting parts, I think that's your best way in. If you can craft something beautiful out of what someone created, it's a joy to be able to bring someone's script to life, especially good scripts. And talking about that, there are not that many great writers around. There are some, and I feel so overjoyed when I find them. But there are many people that either call themselves a writer or a director, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. They're writers, but they're bad writers. The directors, they don't know what they're doing. So, it's a learning curve, I think, for everyone. And I continually put myself into classes. I continually try to meet people through workshops, which is one of the few ways actors have, where, you meet someone even now online, they give you some copy and then you copy meaning a script, and you enact it, and they see if you're good, you're not good. Unfortunately, there's so many of us doing it that by the time 2 months come by, they don't know who you are, but then you hope that they'll remember you and you try to stay in touch. But it's a business where you're constantly working to meet new people. I'm a member of New York Women in TV and Film, which is an amazing organization. They do accept men, but it's basically females that are extremely successful to people that are just trying to be successful. I'm a member of, it's called the Gotham now, but it was called IFP, which is also another film thing. There are many, many ways that, because it's a lonely business. It's a competitive business and it's a lonely business, but there are many ways that we can connect with others that are artists and find a way together, to create art. You can't do anything alone. You can't do it
You
alone.
can't. Got to do it together. And obviously, you love what you do, and there's a lot of blessings and joys in the work. Being able to be a part of it and to inspire, and again, like we talked about, leave the room better than you found it. What are some of those blessings and joys that keep you wanting to be in the business and inspiring others through your work and your art?
I think mainly the people. There is a lot of bad apples in the business. And I think that they're more towards the top. People that have succeeded in the business monetarily or have done well with certain films, and then they think they're God and they can do anything that they want, and and it's not true. And I don't want to go to the ugly side of the business, but for me, it's the joy of meeting new people. It's the joy of seeing new people's work that I'm not familiar with, and seeing the artistry in there. It's about the humanity of it. The humanity of creating the characters, but also the humanity of the people that love the industry as much as I do, that are happy that where they are. Yeah, they want to have more money, they want to have more fame, they want to have more whatever, but to get a community is the word. To be within a community, this type of community, is a huge privilege. And it's not everybody can do it because they're afraid, they're not going to make enough money. They're not going to make enough, whatever it is, to what they think they need. In my case, I was fortunate that I had my children before, because I could see that if that hadn't happened, I would have been struggling to do what I do, and always waiting to have those kids, So I'm glad that happened, but it wasn't easy because, if you're a parent, you have a responsibility, or you're a wife, you have a responsibility to the people that you live with. And this business takes no prisoners. It's at weird hours, middles of snowstorms. I mean, I shot one of the scenes you saw on the reel where we were outside. There were no bathrooms. It was like 15 below zero. And, you had to just deal with it,
Right.
and you gladly dealt with it
Part of
because
it.
you were in something. You were part of a community, and everybody does their job, and everybody supports everybody else in that community. And that, to me, is, I think, the greatest pleasure that I have. Getting on a set, meeting people, or even before that, even in the preparation of something. And you meet who you're meant to meet. I believe that things are destined, and you keep on putting your energy out, and then something will come back, and whatever it is was meant to come back to you. And you can say yes, you can say no, but it brings you into a whole new experience. And it's experience of hundreds of people most of the time, or a lot of the time. So even if it's 20 or it's 100 or whatever it is, these are all new people. They're in your life. They're all there to support you. You're there to support them. It's about community. Yeah.
What it is.
Yeah.
And you've been a part of our community tonight in Lovety Hall, and it's been fantastic. We've chatted for almost 2 hours. It doesn't feel like it, does it?
Really? Shut up.
every person says, every guest says it never feels that way, because we just, again, we let it roll. It's conversational. It's freestyle. Arlene says,
questions.
Great interview, Eve. Even though I know you personally, I still learned much about you and your acting career. Thank you very much, Arlene. I love to hear that. And everybody joining us. I hope the show met whatever expectations you might have had, and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you, Eve.
I've really enjoyed the time. I just want to give a little shout out to Elizabeth Cottle, who has been watching. She's also one of the stars in The Sisters Cardos. She's an amazing actress, and I was privileged to meet her through our shoot. And what happens once you work with somebody, they become your family for life. And that
Absolutely.
is so beautiful. It's like you're part of a community. You can never, never be alone, you know?
Alessandra in North Carolina says it was a great conversation. Thank you, Alessandra. Kathleen in New York City says, great show. Thank you both. Our pleasure. Sherry Larson, the birthday girl in Kansas, says, thank
Happy
you for
birthday.
joining us on the Jim Masters Show. Thank you, Sherry. Continue to enjoy your birthday and all the blessings that come with that. Jeffrey, good to see you as well. Fantastic interview. Such a wise woman. Thank you, Jeffrey. Blessings to you as well. Mary Bishop in Florida. Wonderful meeting you. This was wonderful. Thank you, Mary in Florida. Juanita in South Africa. This was a great conversation. Thank you, Eve, for sharing your time with us. Elizabeth says, oh my God, Eve, thank you. Reciprocated. Thank you, Elizabeth. And anybody that's new, we would love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That helps us out as well, big time, so we can give you more shows like this. Love the conversation. Our dear mutual friend, June. Good to see you, June. Hopefully we'll be breaking
Great to
bread
see you.
soon. And Eve, you are our family for life. So you are now, with all these awards and accolades, you can get Emmys, Oscars, Tonys, Grammys, Tellys, Peabodys. But when you get a Lovity on the Jim Masters Show Live, are your feet tingling right now, Eve?
Everything's tingling. My entire body's tingling. I love it. Thank you for becoming a new part of my community. I'm thrilled.
Oh, yes. We've all, it's a meeting of the minds here. We'll definitely subscribe. Thank you, Arlene and Jeffrey. Great job. And guest Jim, thank you, Jeffrey, as well. I always say to all the guests now, after we chat for, these epic conversations, go get that circulation going and go stretch those legs. I hope you had dinner already. Did you have dinner?
Yeah. Well, since I came back from all these trips, I think that my dinners have to be much smaller than they were.
Yeah.
So,
Now, were you on a shoot recently, or because you just literally got
yes,
in
it
town?
was. Right. Well, 2 days ago. Yeah. But
Yeah. But there's the
prior
jet lag
to-
after, right?
It was, exactly. I mean, it's a different time zone, the whole thing. But prior to that, I was at the Manhattan Film Institute, which is every summer they do a program in the North Fork of Long Island.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And they bring in major players in the industry, to teach you. And then while you're there, you create 2 short films that are already written, and they take 50 actors from all over the world and 50 directors, and many of them are young, but there's also older people, and you're never too old to learn anything anyhow. And I had the most amazing experience. It was like boot camp for actors, and we created something wonderful, and it was a fantastic experience. So for me, it's been great, but it was pretty, not only do you act, but you also have to learn how to do the lights, how to do the editing, how to, you get a little bit of everything. So when you're working, you understand what everybody else's job is.
Right. Which is the best. I've always been trained that way in school and in the industry, is to always know at least a little bit of what everybody else is doing, because everybody has value and everybody's a piece of the puzzle for the overall creation of whatever the production or whatever the event or whatever the scenario is. And to respect, appreciate, and know a little bit about each other's work, because also, in addition to, having the appreciation and the respect, you never know when that other person isn't going to show up, or they're ill, or something happens, and they grab Eve or Jim and say, please go out there and do something. Please help us with this, please. And you end up doing something that maybe you weren't planning to be doing, but you're participating because you know a little bit about it to help get it through and get it complete. So it's
the answer is always yes.
The answer is always yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. This was very cool, Eve. High five. This was awesome. We can't touch, but yet we can virtually.
We can virtually touch. It's a good thing.
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll see you in person soon and break bread at an event or show or whatever it may be, maybe with June, dinner or something. But this was really terrific. And thanks for gracing us here with your presence on the Jim Masters Show Live. I hope you'll spread the word about our show.
Totally
and,
will.
we will keep the porch light on for you. And this was really a great way to spend a Saturday night with you, jet lag and all. You look darn good for jet lag.
Thank you so much.
You'd never know.
Thank you so much. Well, I do help the cosmetic industry quite a bit.
Well,
My tan is gone, but the rest of it
tan
is
is
still
gone.
working.
The tan
Yeah,
is
yeah,
gone.
yeah.
Well, we'll look for you on the screens everywhere and stages everywhere. And continued blessings to you, Eve, and enjoy your night. And again, Mr. Burns wishes you well as well.
Thank you, George. Wherever you are, you know what I'm talking about, right? Right, buddy?
Yes, he does.
Where's your cigar?
Right there.
Oh, it's in his hand.
It's,
Aha.
oh yeah. It's always in his hands.
Well, I love George Burns, and I love all those old time comedians. They're fantastic. So yeah.
Yeah. Antenna TV, Cozy TV, Me TV, and the Decades Network. They have all the reruns of all the classic TV shows, and I love that stuff. It's good writing there with a lot of those shows. Dick Van
Yes.
Dyke and some of the others.
Yes.
Stellar writing with those. Yeah.
I agree with you. That's, that is our past that we have to build a future on. So yes.
Exactly right. Exactly right. You take care, my friend. Thanks for joining us again, and have a wonderful rest of your night. Okay.
Thank you. And thank you for the great questions. You really know what you're doing. And it's a pleasure to meet you and talk to you.
My pleasure. We'll have you back. We'll keep the porch light on for you. Okay.
Always love those porch lights. Thank you very much.
Yeah, as many as possible, right? Follow the light. Follow. It goes back full circle to what we were saying.
Obviously, I like the light.
I was going to say full circle. The lights now are ring shape, aren't they?
That's exactly right.
This goes full circle to what we were talking about at the very beginning of the show. Follow that light. Positivity.
Exactly. Just keep on being positive and keep on knowing that you can rise above any situation. You just have to make yourself do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. All right. You have a good night, Eve. It was a real pleasure.
You. It's a pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye now. Eve Austin on the Jim Master Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. What an epic conversation for sure, hon. If you'd like to see it again, or if you came in late or you missed something, don't fret. You know the drill. All of the episodes, we're talking about something like 440 episodes of the Jim Master Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series, are available for you right there on our YouTube channel 24/7, 365. With guests coming in from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, theater, culinary arts, sports, comedy, inspiration, all walks of life, all fields of endeavor, and all levels of success. And everybody is welcome to be a part of our show, to watch our show. Doesn't matter your gender, political views, religious views, height, weight, zip code, how much money you have in the bank, eye color. It's a one big party here on the Jim Masters Show live. And we thank you very much for being with us tonight, and two shows today. Again, we had our guests, the Irish folk and pop group Billowwood, live from Ireland earlier, and that was around 2:00 this afternoon. That was an epic show. And then this evening, we rounded out our Saturday with Eve Austin, and boy, that was fantastic. I'm sure you learned a lot too from the conversation. We really got into some well-rounded subjects, didn't we? Again, it was a real pleasure to have Eve on the show. Of course, you can find her online and everywhere else. And you can also find us online as well. Of course, our YouTube channel is the one you're watching right now, Jim Masters TV, a channel really dedicated to entertaining, informing, educating, and inspiring. And out of that is this series, the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. We always say, don't forget to smile, gang. Don't forget to share the lovity, something born out of this show. And of course, find your Zen place. Mine is with loving family and friends. Of course, I love cycling, a cyclist. I love tennis, writing, music, gardening, sports, and of course, the ocean. Living here along the coast in the Northeast, the ocean is a Zen place for me. Swimming, surfing, boogie boarding in it, sailing it, walking it, floating in it, and watching the sun rise and set in it as well. And of course, my work in television, radio, stage, and film over the years too, also a Zen place. We know that Eve is in a Zen place and in a zone when she's doing her work, acting, producing, the whole bit. Same for yours truly. When I'm doing my thing, it's always a Zen situation. Find your Zen place, folks, and share it with the world. Share it with the world. And love it. Juanita says, another great guest. Thank you, Jim. Enjoy your day tomorrow. That's right. Thank you much. We'll be back on Monday, actually. We're actually taking a day off, as rare as it is. It's a family day tomorrow and hopefully a beach day. I have not been in here. I'm talking so much about the ocean at the end of every show. I haven't been in the ocean yet. I got to get in that ocean. It's August. I got to get in the ocean soon. The ocean's calling my name, and it's only a couple blocks away. Juanita in South Africa, thanks for joining us once again. Kathleen Walker, thank you, Jim, for a great day of shows. I know we've been on the air almost all day, I think 6 hours we've been on today. Elizabeth Cottle, welcome. Love to have you as a guest as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. We would love it. Also, anybody that's here, definitely give this episode a thumbs up and leave a comment on our YouTube channel. We appreciate that. Thank you, Arlene, Jeffrey, Alessandra, Mary, thank you as well. Good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You too, Mary in Florida. And Alessandra says, good night, Jim and everyone. We'll see you all Monday. We're back 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific with a wonderful journalist and motivational speaker, playwright. Stephen McCall is going to be with us live. He's got an inspiring story as well. Monday here on the Jim Masters Show Live. But over the weekend, you can binge watch all of our series, 440 episodes, just shy of 440 episodes, which is unbelievable in a year and a few months' time. I can't believe it. So have fun with that. I know a lot of you like to binge watch. Have a great night. Enjoy your day off tomorrow, Jim. Good night, all hugs. Kathleen Walker, you as well. And the birthday girl, Sherry Larson in Kansas. Severe thunderstorms are here, getting off just in case. Everyone have a wonderful evening. Thank you for making my birthday even more special. Yeah, you got us singing happy birthday to you, me and Kara and Harry from the group Billowwood, live from Ireland. And it was our pleasure to do that. You guys are the best. Thanks so much for being with us here on the show. We love you all. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, your morning, your noon, your night, because of course, a lot of people watch this. A lot of people watch this show at a lot of different times of the day. And sometimes you never know, what time of day it is. So whenever you're watching, just thanks for being there. Thanks for all the levity and being part of our fabulous community we have here called Levity Hall and the Jim Masters Show Live. You guys be well. You take care. We love you all. And we'll see you again on the next episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. Have a good night.